Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Krystal, the very basics, to find and monitor Bitcoin liquidity pools to bank on Bitcoin. Krystal is a very useful DeFi app, and it's very handy because you don't have to juggle in between different DEXs, different blockchains. You can do everything from Krystal's dashboard. Now, when looking for liquidity pools, the first step that you need to do is understand which blockchain are you willing to provide liquidity on. I would say the best ones are Ethereum, Solana, BNB. Polygon also might have good opportunities there, and also Base and Arbitrum. So you can start today and find at least one on each blockchain. Get comfortable using Krystal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn all of this off, and I'm going to select only the networks that I just mentioned, because they're probably the ones where you are going to have the best results. They have the highest volume when it comes to trading. So this already gives us 5 blockchains that we can work on. Actually, let's add in Polygon. Polygon sometimes has also really good performing pools there. So this is the first step, finding the blockchain we want to provide liquidity on. Then there's going to be DEXs. Decentralized exchanges are available for anyone to provide liquidity. And although the list is very good and you have really good DEXs here, they don't have them all. And if you go and consider, for example, Solana, they will be missing out on Orca, for example, which is a leading DEX, and also Meteora. Meteora has high volume as well. Nevertheless, you can find really good performing pools on Radium. And as a complete beginner, you have already plenty of options for you to build your own liquidity pools that you want to keep an eye out on in order for you to deposit and create your own Bitcoin money making machine. So these are the first 2 steps, finding a blockchain and finding DEXs. I will let all of this stay on, but now we're having some different filters here. Favorite, boosted, hooks, and fair flow. Never mind both of these, hooks and fair flow. As a complete beginner, you don't need to worry about that. Favorite will be using with the heart icon here to add this to a favorite list so that we can build our own list that we want to keep a close eye on. And then boosted gives us liquidity pools that are being incentivized. For example, we have some here that have an aerodrome gauge, and there's going to be others. This one has a pancake farm. Pretty much depends on the DEX, but whenever you see this money bag icon, it means the pool is being incentivized. So you will earn on top of the fees some extra APR because of some extra incentives, which is still yield, and it will boost your APR because of that. If you can find incentivized pools, go for those because it's going to be better. They will pay you out much more regardless of the volume being generated. Now the next step is turning on this 30-day APR filter. I don't want to see 24-hour APR, 7-day APR. I am in this for the long run, so I'm going to select 30-day average APR because of that. For example, if I would go here, 24-hour APR, I have much different results. But I want something that has proven to be very profitable in the long run. If it would be offering here the option to see 6 months, 1 year, I would go for that. But they don't, so we're gonna stick with 30-day APR. And now it's time for us to find Bitcoin liquidity pools. So a couple of liquidity pools we can find are wrapped Bitcoin pools, very used ones. This tokenized version of Bitcoin is very much used across the Ethereum ecosystem, Ethereum mainnet, layer 2s. So you see, this is a 0.01% fee liquidity pool. That means whenever people trade tokens in this pool, they will pay 0.01%. And these pools do tend to have very good performance because of that. Although we can see some other pools down on the list, 0.11%, which is much higher. As a liquidity provider, you will earn much more in theory, but the thing is that these pools have such a low fees that most of the trades are going to be routed to these pools. So this first one does look really good. 30% average APR in the past 30 days. It's very, very good. And then there's other pools here, but in my experience, the ones that have the highest volume are either this one paired with stablecoins or paired with Ethereum. As a complete beginner, I would say stick with this. The ones with the stablecoin, usually a Bitcoin paired with the stablecoin pool will have a higher APR. 30% on this one. The next one on the list is this one, 23% on PancakeSwap V3. This one has 44%. In any case, you see from all of this top pools, we have 4 on Arbitrum, then 1 on Polygon, and then we have also 1 on Solana. So this already gives us plenty of options. So if I want to just eliminate anything else, I would just go here and add USDC, and now we only have this showing up in the filters, 2 on Arbitrum, 1 on Polygon. So we can go ahead, hover the mouse icon, and just tag this with a heart in order to get this added to our favorite list. Now there's other stablecoins. USDC tends to be a solid one, so we're gonna stick with that. But now instead of wrapped Bitcoin, we are going to add CBBTC to the filter, which is the tokenized version of Bitcoin issued or backed by Coinbase, the leading centralized exchange in the US. So we got a couple options here, very interesting ones. We have these on PancakeSwap. We also have some here on Aerodrome, an Infinity Pool as well here on PancakeSwap. All of these are incentivized, by the way, so that's really good. Another one here on PancakeSwap. It's a different pool than the first one that we saw because this has a 0.05% fee tier. This one, like I mentioned before, is 0.01%. And actually, I have this sorted out by 24-hour to volume TVL, but I should have instead sorted by 30-day APR because after all, we are looking for something that is reliable in the long run, right? Now notice that CBBTC, since it's issued by Coinbase, pretty much gives us options on the base network. And still, the APR here is really good. Average APR in a month, even this one, 22%, is really good. But the next one I want to search is BTCB, which is just the same thing as CBBTC, but in this case, it's going to be backed by Binance itself. So let me write here BTCB. Now it's not showing up anything, but if I switch up the stable here from USDC to USDT, yeah, there we have it. And usually on the Binance Smart Chain, you will find they will use USDT instead of USDC. We only have 2 options and they are very low APR compared with the other ones, but still, let's add them to the list because it's still good to keep track and we want something to diversify across multiple blockchains, multiple dexes. So we're gonna go with this one as well. So I'm gonna go back here to favorite list and let me clean up all the filters, reset all filters. And now it only shows me the list of pools that I tagged as favorite. So we already have 9 different pools. That's plenty. What I would do if I would be starting today would just be use these ones, use the ones that have been performing the best for the past 30 days. Now looking at all of these options here, I'm still lacking something on Solana. So let me go back. I'm going to just select Solana now. Let me turn off favorites here. And I want to have wrapped Bitcoin because on Solana you'll find wrapped Bitcoin pools. So we are going to go with this one. Also really low APR. Solana tends to have a really high volume as a blockchain overall, but right now this is not performing all that well. So the volume to TVL ratio in this one is really low. The TVL is actually higher than the volume. Nonetheless, I will still add it to my favorite list. Probably I would find something yielding better on Meteora or Orca, but let's stick with it. The focus of the video is just showing you how to start working something on Krystal, and we already have plenty of options here. So once again, I'm going to my favorite list. If nothing shows up, it's highly likely because you haven't reset your filters, so you should do that. But from here on, you can start and deposit into your first position. You just need to come to the plus icon, create position. And this is one of the coolest things about Krystal is that the zapping feature allows you to pretty much use any token that you have in your wallet to deposit into this pool. So for example, I have some cake here. If I want to go ahead and turn this cake into a deposit into this liquidity pool, I just need to select the amount of cake that I want to put in the pool. Now I do need still to select my range. Let me zoom out here just so that you can see. The green poles are your minimum and maximum price range limits. The blue volcano or mountain looking thingy here is a liquidity distribution. If we zoom in, you see there's a big blue block here around the market price right now, which you can see as the yellow line. We can set this up manually. So there's a lot of zeros here, minimum price, max price. If you want to have something understandable for you to read, just click here CBBTC. This will give you market price in dollars according to the range that you want to set. So I would come here, set up a minimum price of 80, let's say 80,000, and then a maximum price of, let's say 100,000. Notice that automatically pools here adjust. This will be your chosen range. They're not showing us an estimated APR, but these probably would have single or double digits APR. Also, you can go instead with narrow, range, which is minus 5% plus 5% around the current price, wide range, which is I believe 20-20, actually 30-30, and full range. These will earn you the lowest amount of fees, but you don't have to worry about managing anything because it doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes to a million, you will still make fees. If you're in doubt, wide range is going to be a solid option. It gives you pretty much the same exposure on the downside and on the upside. And as the yellow line moves up, in other words, as Bitcoin price goes up, your Bitcoin gets sold for USDC. On the other hand, if Bitcoin price goes down, your USDC starts to buy the dip, and you will see that your position starts accumulating Bitcoin. Once you're happy with that, you just click add liquidity. If it's your first time operating with the protocol, you'll have also to grant them permissions to access your wallets USDC and CBBTC. It's going to take a couple transactions more and a couple more steps for you to confirm all of that, but it's as simple as that. Now, I already have some positions ongoing, so this is one of the positions I currently opened. Once you open yours on Krystal, you will see the same dashboard. It gives you all the readings, the total value, total earning in fees, total P&L of the pool. You will see even here the amount of impermanent loss that you experienced. Don't stress about impermanent loss. Of course, it's important to know what it is and how it affects your position, but in the long run, that's not something you should bother with, because after all, we're getting exposure to Bitcoin. We also have a fees and rewards breakdown. So this pool has a cake farm, so I'm getting cake as well. Let me just share a quick tip here. I cannot rebalance this position straight from the Krystal dashboard. To execute this transaction, you need to unstake your LP from the farming pool first. So if I want to manage everything from the Krystal dashboard, which is much convenient and easier to use than compared with PancakeSwap, for example, I would first need to go on PancakeSwap. Let me show you. And then you see this is the farm position that I was just looking at. I would have to click and stake here, accept the transaction in my wallet, and then go back here on Krystal, refresh the whole thing, and then rebalance would be available once again. Just remember, after you do rebalance, go back into the farm and stake it. And this is it, guys, how you can find the best Bitcoin liquidity pools across multiple DEXs and blockchains. Make a list, keep a track on all of this just by using Krystal. I'll have another video linked up on screen right now showing you how the whole depositing process goes here with Krystal. Go check it out if you want a more step-by-step approach to all of this. That being said, guys, if you took value from the video, you know the drill. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. Take care. Keep exploring crypto, and I'll see you on the next one.